VT UK.
Motherfuckers, it's Tuesday evening and welcome to episode 210 of the Vape Talk UK. I put we just had a conversation about another show and I nearly just said the conversation that...
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, we are ahead of the curve, so it's, you know, expected to be this way. Like,
so that's just where the me and Cass feel wanted. You know, we know where you're striving to, Mark.
I mean, me and Jono are the only two that haven't been on said show. Wait, have you been on it?
No.
Jono? No.
I've been on a number of times.
We don't get invited to... I don't even get invited to VVRP, so...
That's because you're nothing special.
I know.
It's special just in a different way.
Do you know who I am special to, who emailed me this week and want me to review their products?
Joel.
Your mum?
No, not my mum and not Jules. Get in the bin. No. Ruthless. Ruthless want me to review their products.
ICOS?
No, not ICOS.
Oh.
No, Ruthless. Ruthless want me to review, so I'm pretty happy about that.
What a shame.
Never
Anyway,
mind.
welcome to the show, guys.
Scared the life out of me starting the show.
Oh, dear. Since I moved to Twitch, things have changed for the better, I feel.
I think it's a more positive vibe as well.
Oh, God, so much. We've got such a good show this week. We've got some cool shit going on. We've got some products to look at. Chandler might join us if he feels that we're worthy of his time. Sorry, Rolf. Yeah, Mr. Harris might be joining us. We'll see. Who knows what could happen?
Good evening, Pete. Good evening, Jesse, Gareth, David, Dale, Andrew, Badger as usual. You know, never fail, Badger, and Nutsy. Oh, Barry.
I haven't seen Orgy yet. Is Orgy in?
Orgy's here.
Oh, Orgy's here. It's because I've refreshed my chat, so I can't see what was previously there.
Did you manage to pop it out?
I did, and then I actually want to see what's going on the screen, so I've put it back again.
I fell asleep watching Friday, to be fair, mate. So did I nearly.
Apologies for Friday.
What happened Friday? I can't even remember.
It was basically fucking boring. We bored each other.
Yeah, the thing was, right, I think we were all fucking exhausted. We normally go on blagging it, but even that was wearing a bit fucking thin on Friday.
Mark pressed like this on his mic stand.
Oh, yeah.
20 minutes of it was him faffing. Like...
Yeah, it was.
Technical fuck-ups. There will be no technical fuck-ups. I can promise you. Oops, pressed the wrong button. Sorry.
Magic. Yeah, Fridays, we're trying to keep more upbeat because last Friday it was quite long-winded and just...
I enjoyed it.
No, I did enjoy the show, but I did feel very
I always
tired
enjoy doing it, but it was just, I think it was just one of them weeks that we'd all had enough and...
You can't backtrack now, John.
Yeah, well. Yeah, we're looking forward. We're looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get on. Cass, what are you vaping on?
What am I vaping on? Well, I'm vaping on this secret new device, which I will not be talking about just yet. And I'm inside the secret new device that I'll not be talking about just yet is the tobacco from Simple Vape's Salt range. I also have I'm on a pod bint today. I've got the Zeltu, and in that I've got some Salt Dragon Dream, which is questionable. and I left it in the kitchen, but I'm also vaping on my K-Fun, and in that is a pile of shit because it needs to get re-wicked. It tastes like arse. But the juice in it's very lovely. That is the ephemeral that I've got in there. Does the secret device you're not talking about yet have flames on it? It doesn't, no. It just has...
I do believe he was watching on Friday night when we announced what it was.
Yeah.
It's not flames, it's magma.
Is that like smegma?
No, it's not like smegma. It's like Never mind.
Kind of rhymes with Chandler.
Oh!
What?
Oh! What, smegma rhymes with Chandler?
No. What did you say before?
I said it has magma on it.
Which rhymes with Chandler-ish.
It's
It's a
Reachy, but okay.
It's a synonym.
A synonym.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Synonym.
Do-do-do-do.
Synonym.
What did John Martin comment the other day?
Oh, that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
That was absolute quality. That was comment of the evening.
Right.
All right.
Cass,
Torral's just said
it's annoying me now, right? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be called the bucket list. The
Yes.
shop that's behind you. What does it do?
they sell buckets about this big of chips, right? But it's not just any chips. What they sell, it'll be chips with like a roast dinner on top, or curry, or chicken nuggets, or sweet chili, or cheese, or whatever you want. They're literally this big. Oh, I've got out of focus. They're literally this big, piled up about that high off the top of the bucket. I mean, it costs like £8. Yeah, I know. Come on. Come back. There we go.
I'm back in the room.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's like £8 for a bucket of chips, but that's what they do, and they're fucking awesome.
That sounds absolutely freaking amazing.
I like a good bucket every now and
I like
then.
a good bucket.
Right, Torral's
Especially
just said,
for
if we
fun.
can't see you, you don't have it. Prove it now. Right, back in a sec.
What, he's going to buy chips?
Do you know what? I hope he don't, because I'm starving. And
I
I don't want to I don't want to have like water damage to my mic as I drool.
what was that?
What?
That was a double barrel.
Yeah, see, I have it with the K-Fun.
What?
I'm just going to turn my camera off and on again. Be back in a sec.
I am so lost. What is going on?
I don't know.
I don't know, but you and Mac have switched sides.
Weird.
That was
Yeah, it's because I turned my
scripted.
camera off.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, that place.
It's good. It is good. I mean, you can get basic chips and cheese and stuff for like £6, but I mean, you are getting a fucking shit ton of chips.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah. So that's what the bucket list is.
Dangerous having that over the road.
See, it was, and then after like 2 times, I was like, right, I'm done with this now, and I haven't had it in about 6 months.
2 times.
Oh Christ, not again.
You must say it a lot for me to.
What are you vaping on, Mark?
Cotton. Another device that we're going to be talking about shortly.
Cool.
I'm still on the OBS Cube, still running the EVLV3, still do.
Loving it.
There we go.
No cigar?
Still vaping on no cigar. However, I'm about to start working on something awesome.
Right.
About to start working on working with some relatively new flavourings from a company that's been about quite a long time, but they have really upped their game recently, and they have released a absolute tobacco base. Now, this absolute tobacco base is like nothing you've tried before. Nothing you've tried before at all.
Is it an NET? Is it an NET?
Maybe, possibly.
That's a yes.
You'll have to.
I'm intrigued.
You'll have to. Yeah, we're going to need. I'm going to need some guinea pigs at some point. So if you are a tobacco vapor, then please hit me up. And as we progress and as we go on, no, I'm not just sending bottles of free shit out for people to try. I need proper feedback. It's not a free shit hunt. I need proper informative and
No yes men.
and useful feedback. I used to have a team of people that used to taste e-liquids, and in between every blowjob they gave me a little bit of feedback on how great it was and how great I was, and it just wasn't what I wanted. It was.
Did you bin them all off?
Yeah, vast majority. Got to be honest. You know, every month when they come back with awesome feedback, but sales don't reflect that, I think we need to reassess.
Yeah. So this is a mad thing, right? Because I actually have a sponsor, Nova Vapes, and their juice is actually pretty good as far as I've found so far. Like, there's a couple of nice ones in there. Now, originally when I started with them, it was a case of they sent me juice because I was reviewing for them, so they were quite happy to send me juice each month, etc. And then they started bringing in like a team of people. They're like 30 or 40 people, and they put like a bit of like a quota on. So, a certain amount of images a month, etc. It's standard stuff for a team. Anyway, and I said to them, because I started obviously doing Vape Talk, I had my own reviews. I didn't have time to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I said to them, look, and I feel bad. You guys sending me juice. It's costing you money, and I'm not giving you what you want. And they went, no, don't worry about it. You're the only one in this whole team that will actually give us proper feedback and tell us if we're doing wrong. And I was like, well, fair enough. I mean, I go, you got some good guys on your team. And they're like, yeah, we are, but we trust you because you've been with us since the beginning. I was like, okay, fine.
That's loyalty.
Yeah. And I a massive respect for them for that. And I have said on more than one occasion, stop sending me juice. It's just costing you money. But they're happy to because of the feedback. And that's what you need in a company.
Yeah.
What are you vaping on, Jono?
I'm still on. I actually went back to the dud. Well, I called it a dud cloud lemonade. I was waiting for the bottle to empty, and then empty it in, and then put another one just with a nick shot, just so I could have it properly mixed. But I'm still on Suicide, the Healer. But I actually got the Tesla Invader 4.
You got it.
I actually got it.
How much did you pay for it, Jono?
Absolutely squat. And that's because I've got a very, very good friend and a very knowledgeable person who works up at TYV. Mr. Steve Greenwood is basically a vaping guru. If you still want to know about how to wick silica, he will tell you. He's the guy who just knows all. He's a brilliant guy. I can't sell him enough. He's just a genius. And I'm actually running some 2700s.
I didn't realise it took 2700s.
Yeah, it takes 18650, 2700s, and 21700s.
Okay.
So I mean, even though I got it for nothing, I'd still say, well, it's a bit, you know what I mean. Don't look a gift horse at mouth, I know, but I absolutely freaking love it.
Fair enough. Are either of you guys regular users of 21700s?
No.
Yeah.
Have you found that their cycle life is about 4 months before they start losing their capacity? Because mine, I've had them 5.5 months, and they're lasting less than half of what they used to.
Nope.
No,
I'm not 21700 user, so
maybe it's just the brand I bought. I bought Vape cells, so no idea.
Well, Vape cells seem to be lasting all right, but I do prefer.
Is it Molicel?
No, the 30Ts.
Okay, see, I've got 30 Qs in 18650, and they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so I I'm running that at 4 volts. It's absolutely spot on. And believe it or not, it actually hits harder than my Suicide.
Ooh.
Which is a big plus for me. I love power. Don't get me wrong. I love the. I am partial to a bit of mouth to lunging. I need to rebuild my Berserker, which I'm going to be doing this week, and trying to get on some more salts. But I'm actually.
Oh no.
Okay.
He's paying attention.
Just on that, I'm on the Dead Rabbit. I redid my Dead Rabbit RTA.
How is the Dead Rabbit? Because I see a lot of people using it, and it's got loads of hype. But
I love it. I mean, I love the RDA anyway. And I found because everyone was saying, like, when I was with Suicide, they were saying, oh, you know, it gets too hot with the big builds, and it did. It got really, really hot. However, I what's the word? Solved that by creating a coil which I named the Flat Rabbit, and it was basically so basically, rather than having 2 3mm, you have 2 3mm jig, one on top of each other. Yeah. Wrap it around that, and it would actually flat.
Okay.
So it was just one single coil, but it was flat. And
that's amazing.
Loads of people got so much good feedback from it.
Can I just say that both my missus and Mrs. Martin, John's missus, must think that we're absolutely fucking insane. Every week.
Why?
We had a few weeks off, but this week he's outdone himself.
Right.
He has outdone himself on this week's picture video.
Can you show it?
No.
Is it just a dick shot?
Oh no, we're more creative than that. You at least
okay.
You at least stick eyes on it or something beforehand.
Just one eye.
Oh, it's winking, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Hi, David D. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, David.
Yeah, see, even the chat know he's doing his late night shift. Is he actually on a late shift, or is he just stuck in traffic?
I've just spotted John's comment in YouTube. Getting Mark to laugh live is a sexual thing now. Guys,
all you got to do is mention "Don't inhale your drip tip" and he's off.
Guys, just join us on Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have YouTube chat up anymore. Sorry.
It takes 2 minutes just to set up your Twitch account.
There are 6 people. 6 people.
And if you don't even want to chat, you just want to watch, you don't need an account to watch it.
No, you don't, actually. That's a good shout.
Just twitch.tv/Vape Talk UK, and you can find the show about 45 seconds earlier than you're seeing it on YouTube. And I think it looks better. Although, no, it looks exactly the same, doesn't it? So
No. It looks better on this.
Oh, okay, cool.
It smells better.
Sharper and clearer and more beautiful.
More beautiful. Shall we do a bit of noose?
Just hang on. I kept getting interrupted. Damn it.
Hang on, pull the face.
Okay.
So on the Suicide, I'm on Cloud Lemonade, and on this, I'm on the Blueberry Jelly by Juice Sauce. And I've got to say, I'm not at all impressed.
Ooh.
Baby sick.
To be honest, no. It lacks a more blueberry flavour. And to say it's supposed to be jelly, you'd think it was sweet. Nah.
No.
It's more like a ripe blueberry, but even then it's a bit...
You know what? For the grief I give Juice Sauce about some of their juice, I don't actually mind the jelly ones.
No.
I don't mind them at all. I think they're all right.
Do you remember when I bought that crumble and you were like, I got to start to get a weird taste? I'm about 80% into the bottle now, and now I'm getting that weird taste.
Yeah.
It's a lovely vape when I've just re-wicked like half a tank in. I'm like, the weird taste is back.
I'm glad you told me that, because I've got some blueberry crumble. I'm dying to...
I haven't tried the blueberry crumble. This was the rhubarb crumble.
Jono doesn't hide things from us. Jono is my favourite. You're going to get told to get in the bin. Be careful.
This bin is getting pretty full.
Any of you know phonetics? Torrel?
Yeah.
Torrel. Foxtrot, Oscar.
Surely it's Foxtrot, Unicorn, something, Kilo.
What did you say? Unicorn?
Yeah. That's what it is, Unicorn.
It's not uniform, it's unicorn.
Unicorn.
Oh, that's it, Uniform. Yeah. Unicorn. Unicorn is better. I'm going to rewrite phonetics. Fuck the military. Right.
So yeah, pretty much loving it. Absolutely. Since Saturday, I'm loving it. I'm going to give it a proper breakdown on Friday when we've got a bit of time.
Sweet. Right. I'm going to do some news. I've got some news here. Now, I don't know whether this bit... we've already covered this. We may well have done back at the beginning of the year. But... Is Mark dying? I can't see him on my screen. So
try hit.
Oh. Grim.
Right, so I don't know whether we covered this at the beginning of the year, but it has been doing the rounds again. And I thought it was relevant because it's coming up on a lot of groups. So publichealthmatters.blog.gov.uk, in other words, Public Health England, put out an article, like I said, back at the beginning of the year, but I think it's still relevant, saying they're clearing up some myths around e-cigarettes. So no doubt you've seen some of the stories in the media following the publication of PHE's latest update. E-cigarettes do seem a bit like Marmite, causing controversy amongst the public and media alike.
Guys, just very, very quickly, sorry to interrupt.
You're right.
Just want to test something. Can everybody that is in chat now, including the hosts, just type hello, please? Into...
Is it me you're looking for?
Hello.
It's me.
You're looking for...
I mean, nutsy, fuck's sake.
What?
He put hi.
That's all right. I can live with hi.
What is going on? I'm
It has
confused.
to be different. It has to be different.
We
I love
need
it,
to... All of you, X1, anything you like, just write something. If you've not written something yet, write something in chat now. And Jono knows exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, we've got Ideal Home Show John in the chat.
John! Hey! How much better does it look, John? Get yourselves over.
No, don't, because then we will be competing, and we can't. No. Stay over on YouTube. You can have YouTube, and
we won't be competing. We won't be competing. They're on different days. It's fine.
No, we're not competition. We're not competition. Dale Walker, thank you very much for the cheer.
Oh yeah, I think is Streamlabs still down, or is it?
No, it's working now. It's just for some reason we haven't got
Or the little fucking dancey guy, right?
I know. Do you know what? I knew he'd clock on that. I was hoping we were going to miss it.
Where's it gone? Pedo's gone.
Hopefully in the bin.
There we go.
Right, can I carry on with the news?
Yes, sorry. Carry on with the news.
Right, so it says, not surprisingly, there's a lot of inaccuracies and misconception about e-cigarettes and vaping, and this blog is looking at some of the most common myths and provides the facts. Now, if you're watching this in the States, when we have official bodies like this, they're not really allowed to lie, unlike 90% of American official bodies. So, you're going to know that this is how it's been backed up with research. They will provide sources. I will even put the link in the chat for you guys. So it says, myth number 1, e-cigarettes give you popcorn lung. One of the most commonly held myths is that e-cigarettes might cause popcorn lung. This came about because some flavorings used in e-liquids provide a buttery flavor, contain the chemical diacetyl, which at very high levels of exposure has been associated with serious lung disease. However, diacetyl is banned as an ingredient from e-cigarettes and e-liquids, and it has been detected in some e-liquid flavors in the past, but are hundreds of times levels lower than in cigarette smoke. Yeah, I know, it's boring. Myth number 2, e-cigarettes aren't regulated and we don't know what's in them. So it says the UK has some of the strictest regulation for e-cigarettes in the world. Under the tobacco and related products regulations, e-cigarette products are subject to minimum standards. All products must be notified by manufacturers to the UK Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulation Agency. We all know them as the MHRA, with detailed information. Myth number 3, e-cigarettes must be harmful as they contain nicotine. 4 out of 10 tobacco smokers and ex-smokers wrongly think that nicotine causes the tobacco smoking related cancer, which evidence shows nicotine actually carries minimal risk of harm to health. Although nicotine is the reason people become addicted to smoking, it is thousands of other chemicals contained in e-cigarette smoke that cause them almost all of the harm. E-cigarette vapor does not contain tar or carbon monoxide, 2 of the most harmful elements in tobacco smoke, but it does contain some chemicals also found in tobacco smokes, but at much lower levels. Myth number 4, exposure to e-cigarette vapor is harmful to bystanders. The evidence is clear. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this because it's fairly lengthy, but I think it's all important information. The evidence is clear that exposure to secondhand smoke is harmful, which is why the UK has laws prohibiting it in enclosed places. But these laws do not cover vaping, and organisations are free to make their own policies. E-cigarette liquid is typically composed of nicotine, PG, VG, and flavourings. And unlike cigarettes, there is no side stream vapour emitted by an e-cigarette into the atmosphere, just the exhaled aerosol. Now, you may say, we know all of this. Of course we do. I still get people today coming into my shops going, basically spouting every single one of these myths as a reason not to vape. So it is still misinformation, and that's what we're trying to do here, is get rid of some of that. It said that PHE's 2018 evidence found that to date there have been no identified health risks of passive vaping to the health of bystanders. People with asthma and other respiratory conditions can be sensitive to a range of environmental irritants, as well as pollen, cold air, and the PHE advises organisations to take this into account and make adjustments where appropriate. Myth number 5, I think I'm going to do 6 out of the 7. E-cigarettes will lead to young people into smoking. Now, this is particularly relevant at the moment with what's been going on in the States and all over Facebook. It said our latest report found no evidence so far to support the concern that e-cigarettes are a route into smoking amongst young people. UK surveys show that the young people are experimenting with e-cigarettes, but regular use is rare and confined almost entirely to those who already smoke.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Sorry, go on, Karen.
I would say, meanwhile, smoking rates among young people in the UK continue to decline.
Right. If anyone in chat heard anything that he just said, put a thumbs up. Those of you that went into a little coma whilst he was talking, give us a thumbs down. Just out of curiosity.
Was it boring, or could you just not hear me?
It was boring.
Alright, fuck you all, that's that over.
Right, everybody heard.
I hate all of you, honestly. I try and bring you informative advocacy information, and you just think I'm boring. So, shall I do the next bit?
Thumbs down.
There's a few people, to be fair, they're giving you a thumbs up.
Well, hey. I mean, we've got to have at least one small section of seriousness.
Cheers for the cheers, Dale.
Right, so this is something that Jono found. And it says, is the Wisconsin lung disease outbreak really about vaping?
Just before you start, when I first saw this, I automatically thought I went into zombie outbreak mode. I thought, if a vapor bites another vapor, will they become a vapor?
Well, if you look at the imagery, it's basically got zombies in the background.
Yeah. It's really badly put, to be quite honest.
Yeah, right. So it says, here's the story so far. On July 25th, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services issued a memo to healthcare providers and the local and tribal health agencies warning of a lung disease cluster in Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Winnebago counties. Waukesha sounds like that hoe from down the street.
She sounds like one of Michael Jackson's relatives.
Waukesha Jackson.
Yeah.
It described 8 cases of unexplained pulmonary disease among adolescents that were being investigated. The memo was straightforward and sensible, explaining what the DHS knew and what it didn't know. All patients reported vaping in the weeks and months prior to hospital admission. The names and types of products used remained unknown, and the patient interviews are ongoing. However, clinicians are encouraged to remain alert for potential cases among persons presenting with progressive respiratory symptoms. Inhalation drug use is not typically a phrase used to describe regular vaping of nicotine, and this seems to indicate that the DHS, is that a sofa place? No, it's DFS.
DFS.
Thanks for the cheers, Pete.
Officials already suspected the kids were using something other than standard vaping products. It says that same day, a man in his mid-20s had been hospitalized some days earlier, with what was thought to be pneumonia, but it rapidly regressed and damaged both his lungs and heart, and he's been placed in a medically induced coma, and his prognosis was uncertain. The man's brother said he had vaped what was called THC cartridges. The package he showed was labeled Dank Rose Gold.
Dank Rose Gold.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the product appears to be like a typical THC oil cartridge. There's long been a huge problem with counterfeit cartridges filled with unknown substances and sold as branded cannabis products. The Dank Vapes brand is one of the most commonly seen in street sales. Oh man, this is, you know what? This is like a 45-minute read. So
just go to the bit, and I love this bit. Everyone loves a vaping panic.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I found that. Okay, so I'll do this little bit, and then that'll be the end of this section.
Yeah.
Give me a second. So it says, everyone loves a vaping panic. By the time the press got hold of the DHS announcement, the anti-vaping train was already steaming down the track. Only one of the original 8 teens was still in the hospital when the warning went out, but the Wisconsin disease detectives still hadn't isolated the exact source of their lung injuries, and most of the experts quoted in the barrage of news were more than happy to just guess. The Wisconsin American Lung Association, voila, instituted a statement that said e-cigarette use is not safe, especially by youth whose lungs are still developing. E-cigarettes contain chemicals, heavy metals, and fine particulates. The candy and fruit flavorings that so many youths find appealing also contains chemicals known to cause irreparable lung damage,
which is being banned.
Yeah, as I just explained in the apparently very boring section on myths about vaping.
Basically, I loved that bit because it actually they actually say that, well, they're actually saying that the anti-vaping committee are basically trying to, push it aside. That's the bit I loved in that, because you always say, oh, vaping's bad for you. It's so bad. You might as well be smoking. It's like, no, it's not. So there is actually two. I think there's definitely two sides to it.
Thank you for the. Oh wait, I was about to say thank you for the cheers, M. Dolan.
Welcome.
That's right.
Oh. Yeah, exactly like John says, dry hit for an hour and a half and it might, but naturally, it's just not.
I mean, this at the moment desperately needs re-wicking. I'm probably getting bits of burnt sucralose up into my lungs, but the point is it's not heavy metals. I know it tastes disgusting, and I'm not going to vape it because of that. Holy shit. He's arrived.
Oh, we're going to have to hide the chats. There he is.
I love how Mark is asleep.
My headphones start working. As normal.
See, John's on my side. John says, shh, Cass, keep doing the news. I like it. Oh, John's on my side.
No, it was just like that particular thing that I found, and I thought, do you know what? That actually sounds quite interesting. And I read through the whole thing.
Right, and to give you the point about why he thought zombie apocalypse, right? I'm going to put the link into the chat. The picture header is legitimately a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. It's like Day of the Dead, isn't it?
Yeah. It's basically like stolen stock image from some video game.
Yeah.
Or off DeviantArt or whatever. Oh, how are we doing, Chandler?
Good evening. You all right?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a minute.
He wants his label.
Thank you. Thank you very much for translating, Kaz. It's very kind of...
I've lost it. There we go. Let's get rid of...
Hey!
Oh, wrong button.
He's just slowly deleting random parts of the stream to find the right.
There we go.
Oh, I like the way John knows is doubled up. Oh no, it's gone. Marvelous.
Orgy is right. Thank you, Pete, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
11.
10, 11.
Thanks for the cheers.
Cheers, Pete.
Yay!
The first person
people are quite angry.
What?
The chat is angry that it's not the right name.
That I'm. I thought chat was angry that I'm not eating.
Let me find the right one. I've lost it. I've lost it. Oh shit.
It's all gone Pete Tong.
It really has. I can't get rid of the picture. Straight up. Oh no, wrong button. There we go. Oh, we've lost Rolf. Ah, there it is. There we go. Sorry guys. I know you guys paid for that. You guys paid for that.
Oh.
Stay there.
He made stay there. Uh-oh, we're in trouble now.
He's off to go get his didgeridoo, isn't he?
He's going to bubble board us to death. He's just going to walk up to you, Mark, and just be like, wham, in your face.
I'm waiting for the office door to knock. Ding, 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 ding. Sorry, Chandler. No, we don't. You guys do. What the fuck?
It's a didgeridoo. What did I say?
Can you guess what it is yet?
What did you say, Jono? I heard you. You were right. There you go. Hang on.
What result?
He's got to get a fruit cider from the wife. Definitely, John.
Bloody hell, that's a big Chandler.
What do you think?
Can you actually play it though?
I think this is scarily accurate. Carry on.
Yeah. I'm quite intrigued. If you pull it off,
I don't know where this. I don't know where this. I haven't played.
Can you do the circular breathing? No fucking way.
If there's any time to cheer, please do it now.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm really impressed.
They are really fucking hard to play. I am well impressed.
I'm impressed.
There you go.
So impressed by that.
You can take it at work now.
It is circular breathing, isn't it?
It is circular breathing. Yeah. You inflate your cheeks, and then use your cheeks and blow out of your cheeks while you're sniffing your nose.
John,
Yeah.
Wow.
John, thank you very much, Pete, for the cheers. Thank you, John. We have a contender from Johan. As you can imagine, the kind of photo it is, John.
Oh no. Oh no.
Good lad.
No,
good lad.
No, Chandler. Did you actually go out to buy that because of the name that they gave you?
And I've learnt to play it since last week as well.
That's quite impressive.
I definitely feel like a didgeridoo is something Chandler would own.
No, I've got there's like 3 of them in the other room. So yeah.
That's actually I'm well impressed. Sorry, I'm well impressed.
Do you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. You know what I mean?
Legitimately.
Pretty much.
Oh dear.
Man, that is awesome. I really want you to teach me now. Just so I can say, can you guess what it is yet?
Do you know the easiest dig to play is one that's made out of, what is it, 2.5-inch drain pipe. So
really?
Literally, yeah, literally. So you can buy it for like a quid or something stupid from B&Q. Cut it whatever length you cut it to depends on what tune it is, and it is ridiculously easy to play. It's the easiest thing to learn on is a bit of drain pipe.
Oh, wait, I'm going to get some off a building site.
Chandler, can you refresh your Skype? Is it really choppy for anyone else?
It's a little choppy for me, but not
Slightly out.
Okay, how do I refresh that? Just disappear and come back again.
Just turn your camera off and on again, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the picture's better than he left on Friday.
Didgeridoo Chandler do.
Didgeridoo Chandler do. Respect.
Chanandler do.
So he's been preparing his name change for a while then.
Right. So last week and the week before, we promised you a little game. And this little game, if Mark's ready.
I'm not ready. Can we do first thoughts?
Yes, we can. Right. So.
And I'll pull these pictures down.
Cool. So the guys over at Rincoe, after many, many conversations with all of us, mixed up names and Chandler ignoring them and me talking to her at 4 in the fucking morning.
It was 5 o'clock in the morning. What do they expect?
Rincoe
He hasn't spoken to me in an hour and a half. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Sorry,
Cass, did you send the photos to me personally or in the group?
Personally. So Rincoe sent us some devices. If you watched the late vape show on Friday, you will have seen we ended up with the Tix pod kit and the Mechman 228 device. Now today we're going to be looking at the Tix pod kit. Sorry, John, we got the drop on you. So this is the Tix pod kit. Mark had a little vape of it before. I've been using it for about 6 hours today.
6 hours. Hey, so an in-depth review.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of a first impressions, and I will be coming back to it next week with things like how the coils have lasted, how the battery life has been, etc., etc. So it is a 2mm pod device. The coils you get with it are a mesh coil, which is I think 0.6, and you get a 1 ohm mouth to lung regular coil. First impression so far. So firstly, this thing is quite heavy. It comes with a lanyard, but it might as well not because it feels like you've got a brick swinging around your neck. However, in the hand, it is a nice weight. You just wouldn't want it hanging around your neck. Secondly, as far as build quality, I'll get into the vape in a minute. So build quality wise, it's fairly chunky. It feels nice and solid. There is a little bit, I don't know if you can hear this. It's quite quiet. There is a bit of battery door rattle. So it's not bad. I do notice it. And the other thing is you cannot put the door on the wrong way. It doesn't connect. It only goes on one way, which when you're trying to do it blind is a bit of a pain in the arse. And these are all things I think are relevant. The pod itself, let's have a look. Let's pull this out. So the pod pulls out the side like so, just like the R3 PAL. So if you're a fay with that, you'll know this. Your coil, although it's got juice in it, so I'm not going to unscrew it now. You unscrew the base. And your coil screws in. Now, it looks like a BVC coil should fit. It doesn't fit. I have tried. Which is annoying because BVC coils are actually not too shit. And you fill it. If I put this really close, there's a little rubber bung on the side of the tank. There you go. You can kind of see it there. And that's where you fill it through. Although when you fill it, because the drip tip itself is part of the tank capacity, you do have to tip it on its side a little bit, get some of the air holes out of it. But it does fill up with quite a lot of juice.
And one thing I will say, one issue that I had.
Yeah.
When you fill up, only remove. I can't even do it now. Only remove the first half, the first section, because if you pull it all the way out, they're an absolute pig fuck to get back in the hole.
I did the same thing.
Oh, the rubber bung.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do be gentle pulling that out. The airflow, I've got mine set at about half full. It's quite a nice pull. Fully open is not enough for a satisfying direct lung. It just feels like it's blocked. Mouth to lung, nice and tight. Flavor's really good on this as well. Now, Gilfly's just asked what's the battery life, what spec is it? So it's 1,000 mAh battery, and the biggest overriding thing over any pod feature is, and again I don't know if you can see that, it's USB Type-C, so you're gonna have fast charging. Now I actually had to message Mark today because I plugged my USB cable in. I went, does yours wobble a lot, and do you get a light when you charge it? And he went, oh, let me have a look. And he plugs it in. He's like, yeah, I get a green light. I'm like, shit, I've got a broken one. Fuck this. And he goes, no. You got to shove it in. Now, anyone who's got devices with USB ports knows that the last thing you do is force the fuckers in. This one, you do have to give it a proper good shove in, but it does get in, it stops being wobbly, and the light comes on. You've got 3 power settings on the device, 3.35 volts, 3.6 volts, and full power, which I can only assume is anywhere between 3.7, 4.2 volts, but it doesn't actually tell you. You get yourself...
Whatever the battery's got left.
Exactly, yeah. Which isn't, it's not bad. I've not found there to be much difference between the 3 powers, though, and I have tried all 3. Maybe that'll be different on the 1 ohm coil. So, you obviously get your battery level, and then switching it, I don't know if you can see this. Again, it's quite small. If I press this, it flashes twice. So that's now on the lowest setting. That's now on the middle setting. And that's now on the full setting. So you've got red, blue, and green. Nice and simple. So it's beautifully simple to use. I haven't had any leaking issues. I haven't had any condensation issues. And the flavour has been pretty solid the whole way through. I've been using it for 6 hours. It's still... it's still on green battery level for me, so it's going to be decent, and I'm actually well impressed with it, other than the fact that this door's a pain in the dick, because it doesn't go, you've got to make sure it goes on the same way, and it's a bit rattly, and I don't like the button. I just wanted a button on... I wanted a button on the side, not the logo.
Just to give you an idea between the Archery and the Tix,
they're almost identical.
There's not a fat side in it. But one thing I will say, whereas the Archery is an aluminium finish, is quite light. It's quite light. The finish is nice, lovely on the Archery, but this isn't about the Archery. The Tix is heavier. It feels more sturdy. I like it in my hand. The Archeries are banging, don't get me wrong, but I've found them a little bit too airy. Yeah, but no.
That was going to be my question. Come on, Mark, you are known for liking a rather tight mouth to lung.
I like a tight mouth to lung.
Yeah. So go on then. How does the Archery and the Tix compare then?
I prefer the airflow on the Tix.
It's a tighter. You can get quite a tight mouth to lung then with the Tix.
It's not as tight as I'd like. I'd prefer it to be tighter. However, I'm happy.
Right.
It's
okay. That's something.
1,000 milliamp hour. Every pod system, bar none, I have owned, has ended up either in the bin or never being used.
Mm-hmm.
I've used this all day.
And you were saying to me, because I asked you what coil you had in earlier today, and he's gone, I've swapped over for the 1 ohm coil. The 0.6 is too hot. Now, personally, I think the 0.6 is just about right. I haven't used
0.8.
0.8. Sorry, the 0.8. I haven't used the 1 ohm, so I can't say. But how does the 1 ohm compare to the 0.8? 0.8.
It's the 0.8 to me was just a bit too much from out of lung. I think 0.8 either direct to lung or restricted direct to lung would be absolutely fine. But for me, if you're running Nick salts any higher than 20 milligram or sort of 12, 18 milligram freebase, I just think it would be a little bit too much.
It definitely has a... No, I agree. It definitely has a kick. I've got 20 milligram salts in here, and for the first time in a long time, I actually had a head rush off of them. But the flavor of them, I'm impressed by. I thought the flavor was going to be weak, but once it bedded in, it was actually pretty spot on.
Yeah.
What's price point?
No idea. I don't think they're available yet.
They're not quite. I will have a little Google though.
0.6, John. 0.6 for me, 45 milligram. You would probably get on with the mesh coil.
So these are on par price wise with the Orion Q. They're $37. I found them for.
They'll be about 35 quid, 35 quid, 40 quid when they get here, I'd imagine. The 0.8.
$37.99.
The 0.8 will probably be good. Probably be good for those direct to lung or restricted direct to lung. Mouth to lung, point eight was just a little bit too much. Not the same coils as the PAL, no.
No, annoyingly, I wish it took the BVCs, because you can put BVCs in the PAL and it's naughtless coils in the PAL 1, isn't it? So I think they've missed the trick on that, because I think a lot more people would go to it if they could get other coils in there. Now, they're not losing out by not selling or for not making coils, but for me, if I could get the coils for it at my place of work, I'd be well in. Although I do now need to find somewhere I can get the coils, because I'm actually impressed. I was initially going to go, well, I bet this is shit, use the coils and bin it, but actually I want to carry on using this so far.
John, I'm just digging out. I've got some coils somewhere. The coils on this are tiny.
They're basically BVCs with a different thread.
Yeah, I think they're shorter. They're a little bit smaller.
Oh, you got loads of coils?
Oh, and I've got 5.
Oh.
But I'm not going to use them, so you can take them.
What are they, 0.8s?
0.8s.
All right, I'll buy them off you.
Buy them off me. They were given to us, you tit.
Okay. Oh, dear. So, yeah, first impressions, like, vape-wise, I'd give it like a solid 7 to 8 out of 10. Because it's not absolutely blinding, but it's definitely not as shit as I expected.
You see, for me, vape-wise, I would give the quality of the vape probably an 8 or 9, but it's going to have to lose points for flavour. You've got to remember that I'm used to built coils. I'm used to, being able to have the control of the ohms that I build to. So for me, it loses points on flavour. But it's a nice, to me, do you find it's quite a warm vape?
Yeah, it's definitely a warm vape. I wouldn't have said it's too much. Like, I've had some pod systems or even tanks where you vape on it and you just get a mouthful of hot juice or hot vape and it's not pleasant. This is warm, but I know I'm vaping something. It's not like it's nothing. I've had pod systems where the vape is there, but I just can't feel it. But no, I fully agree with you on that. I think build quality...
Focus.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Build quality, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Apart from the door rattle, this thing feels solid. It doesn't feel like I'm going to snap anything off of it. I don't think anything's going to break off of it too soon. The charging port is the point lost on that. I think that is the weak spot. Even for a USB-C, I think this is a weak spot. Just because of the wobble, the fact you have to shove it in, I think that's going to give up before anything else does. And quality compared to price... I would say 30 quid's about the right price for this. Anything more than that, and I think you're scraping at straws. But end of the day, give it 6 weeks, it'd be 12 quid on Evolution Vaping. Also, I have an update on that device.
I don't think it will.
Okay.
I don't think it will.
You think it's going to last a bit?
I think these are going to hang about. I think these are built...
I have an update on the coils for the SX Mini Pod system. The cotton coils are 1,000 times better than the original ones it came with, to the point where I'm going to go buy some after the show. Pricey coils. I don't know what the price of the coils are actually for this.
I've not seen any UK prices to comment.
I mean, if you're getting 5 in a pack, you're looking at like 12 quid. Because that's like standard coil pricing, right? So normally you only get 2 or 3 in a pack, so I'm not...
Yeah, but they're not smocks, so...
Yeah, true. And they're not pods, they're actually coils, so...
And you can also buy, obviously, the replacement cartridge as well.
Presumably the pod's going to last you quite a bit. So the main reason for a replacement pod, I would have thought, would be purely to, I'm just going to swap out the flavour.
Yeah.
Rob Wiggles, could be a shitty USB-C cable. No, genuinely, it's the port that's terrible.
I've tried it. I've got a Huawei cable at the side of my bed, and I tried mine in there, and it's the same.
So, by the way, going back to the smart, because you said about you'll get faster charging.
Mm-hmm.
What wattage can you put into it? You don't want to be putting a 18 18, 20, 30 watt charger into it, do you?
I mean, most fast chargers, and at least for vaping, sort of sit around the 2 amp mark. There is an e-leaf device that will charge at 3. I mean, all of my chargers, to be fair, are like 1 or 2 amps, apart from an iPad one, which I've got, which is 2.5 amps. If you assume 2 amps, I think that's probably safe, because USB-C can handle it. It would be a fucking oversight if they'd have put a fast charge port and not a fast charge battery.
Well, I'm just thinking. I've got an 18 watt fast charger, and I certainly wouldn't plug it into my old phone.
No.
There we go. That's for Guildfly. It's the Rincoe Tix pod kit. And
I do like the Union Jack logo on that.
Yeah.
It is quite cool, isn't it?
It looks a bit classy.
This is one thing to say for the show, which I thought would be satisfying.
Oh, you peeled the label off.
Did I do mine
Come on,
already?
Yeah, you did yours on Friday.
You have to leave it on as long as possible until it basically will not stay on by its own steam anymore.
Oh,
That's when it comes off.
Shit, I've forgotten what I was supposed to be doing.
Mm.
So would you advise going out and buying one?
If you haven't got any other pod systems, then yes. If you're looking for a new pod system, then yes.
Okay, so basically yes.
That went differently in my head to how it came out.
I thought it did as well.
If you're happy with the pod system you've got, I don't think this is going to provide you with anything new.
Really?
I'm not happy with most of my pod systems right now. They're all pissing me off in one way or another.
Can't find the photos, Kaz. You sure they sent them to me personally?
Yeah. I'll forward them to you again.
Got them.
Okay.
So would you actually? What would you rate it over?
Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
No, I meant like what would you compare it to? So like, what would you prefer it over? So like, would you have it over a Lost Vape Q, Orion?
I haven't used the Q or the Quest.
Just on first impressions.
Just on first impressions, it walks all over my Zel 2. We'll give it. I'll tell you next week as to the longevity of the pods, as to whether it pisses on the mini fits. But I think it's definitely up there with the Orion Q. Like I said, I haven't used the original Orion, the DNA one, so I can't say. But
yeah,
I think it's up there, and it's basically. I think it probably beats out the Artery as well.
What about for you, Mark?
It's the only pod system that I've managed to use for a day without having a hissy fit or going back to my usual.
That's good. That's good. That's a good point.
That is a good. That's
and
a good sign.
Happily. I'm gonna take it with me tomorrow. I'm gonna take my usual setup with me for backup, but my intentions are to use it for as long as I can to give it a full. So we can come to you either on Friday or Tuesday next week and say, you know what,
amazing or terrible.
Or terrible.
I mean, I thought the SX Mini was the best fucking thing since sliced bread until the coils burnt out in 4 days. And that was both of them. That's not just one coil. Their saving grace might be the new coils. Again, with this, we'll see. Most of the salt juices I have tend to be coil killers. And the Mini Fit stands up to them. Most other pod systems don't. The Zel 2 burns at the slightest hint of sweetener. So we'll see.
Good.
Sweet Jeff, that's a shame. Dodgy interwebs have to go back to YouTube. You disappear in and out all the time. I'm afraid that's out of our control, unfortunately.
Anyone else having a problem, guys? Or was it just Johan? Don't know. Right, shall we move on to?
Yeah.
We spoke about this. I can't remember if it was last Tuesday or last Friday on the late show. No problem here. So, we wanted to play the game. Guess that beard.
Oh my word.
So yeah, you guys put your suggestions in the chat, and then once we think we've got a few suggestions, we will reveal the answers. There's, I think,
Are
5 or
these
6 of them.
are these celebrities or vape
Vapors.
celebrities?
Vapors.
Vapors.
So there's some that are obvious, some that are not so obvious.
Did you do any more after these?
I didn't get a chance to. No,
Oh,
I had a lot
okay.
of shit to deal with today.
Okay.
We'll
perhaps bring you a few more next week then, because we came up with a few more good ones.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we'll do more.
Paul Wood off Bake Off. Not,
Kind of done.
not,
Yes.
not far off. Not far off. Any more? The rest of you don't know, do you?
No, the other hosts don't know. Only me and Mark
No,
know.
I don't have a clue.
Right, we've got Dave.
Have any of
Phil.
it?
There we go, Dave, Phil. There you go. Phil
Is it
Basardo.
Phil Basardo? Is it?
It is Phil Basardo's chin.
It is Phil Basardo's chin.
Do we have a reveal where we've got the full photo?
Would you like to taste my juice?
It's
There
Phil
we go.
Basardo. There we go.
Hey!
Phil Basardo.
Honestly, that man does not know how to look straight at a camera. I went through like 200 images of him looking sideways.
Like, sort of like that.
He was the first reviewer I ever found because I was looking for a review on the Kanga Subtank Plus, and he was the first one to pop up. This was about 4.5, 5 years ago.
Do you know what? Funny you should say that, because the first review video that I went to was it was how to re-wick. It was how to build on the RBA section of the Kanga Subtank.
But do you remember he used to have this pressure sensor for buttons? It used to be like, oh, this has got 0.2 pounds of pressure to press the buttons. And you're like, what? He used to go all out.
Okay, that is a bit extreme. So my first review had to be, it was Scott Bonner, the I Get You 69.
Me too.
Right.
Rip trippers all day long.
Azopia, thank you very much for the follow. And did Cass sniff his fingers? Yes, he did.
Does it still do the...
Come out your mum.
It does. Right.
Mm.
Hairy chin, number 2. That looks scary, like some kind of sex mask.
Oh.
Some of them, right? The mouth gave it away, so I had to delete the mouth out.
Really? The mouth gave it away?
I like this one.
To be fair, when I was doing this, I was like, they'll get this immediately. Looking back on it now, I don't think they will.
To be honest, that looks like a wax strip.
I think I might know who that might be.
Rick Grove, Glory Hole, Rip Trippers.
Nah, definitely not Rip Trippers. It's too white.
The other Scottish one.
The other Scottish
There
one.
we go.
We have it.
Ali Cam. It's Dean.
Oh!
There we go. There's Dean and his bearded chin.
Yeah.
Hey!
It's weird when you see it like that, isn't it?
It does look like a glory hole. It really does look like a glory hole. Sorry.
It looks to me it looks like a wax strip that someone's just gone all out, plastered it, and just gone whack.
Right. Next
It could have
one.
been someone's vajayjay.
Next one. Oh, that one's easy. The mouth gives it away.
Yeah. See, I think this was the first
No,
one.
I think what gives it away is the. I think we'll wait until someone puts it in chat before I tell you who I think it is.
There we go.
Straight away.
Yeah, look, you can still see the neck tattoo on just underneath the beard.
Do you know how hard it is to cut out a beard?
With a neck tattoo, yeah, it's got to be a nightmare.
There we go. For comparison.
Oh, hey.
Hey, there we go.
We love Grim Grain.
Yeah, he's a ledge. He's a ledge.
Nick is an absolute ledge.
Yeah,
He is completely.
I'm trying to think who we've got next. Okay, Mark, you know which one I want you to leave till last, don't you?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Number 5. Number 5.
I know that is.
This one I was quite impressed with my cutting skills.
Oh.
You do look as though, if I knew we wouldn't get the account, I would stick a phallic object in his mouth there. Oh, I gave its gender away. Sorry, not to assume gender.
Yeah, okay, everyone's got that one. I had to put an easy one in there.
There we go. Do you need to see him? I'd rather not put him on screen if I'm brutally honest.
Oh no, come on. No.
I mean, he
started
spent
my
2.5
vaping
years in
with-
the intro of VT UK, so
Put it on.
There we go. There he is, sick as tits. Oh, what is he holding? What is he holding?
I didn't even see that.
Caspian.
Oh dear! I could have done his. I could have done his new version beard where it's just stubble, but I didn't.
I've got to say, can you see it?
What?
To be
Can you
honest,
see how? Look at his knuckles.
How dry they are.
They just look so dry and itchy.
I know. He needs to hydrate more,
Hydrate.
but normal water won't do that.
Right then, we have bonus points for this last one.
Yep.
Okay. And a motorcycle. I thought that was a cow. No.
Oh. Riyadh. Mark Dolan, no.
Fuck you, mine's not that grey.
Oh, Beardy McBeardface. Right, we've got to have more people than just Badger and Orgy answering.
Do you know the photo of the actual person it is? Have you superimposed that on?
No.
Now you see the glasses line says otherwise.
yeah.
Okay, so he wears glasses.
Yes, he wears glasses. Let's not assume gender here.
So to the person who gets this, they will get a free subscription.
Do you know, Jono?
Who's paying for that?
Yeah. It's not me. My beard ain't that grey and I can't grow a tash like that.
And trust me, when you can grow a tash like that, it's irritating as fuck. James Seward, no, it's not.
Dale.
It's not.
Dale, Matt English, that is so not long enough.
There'll be a mutiny when they find out who it is.
Matt English has
Father Christmas
has got Gandalf status on his beard.
Should we put him out of their misery, Mark?
That's not Rick Grove, surely. No, who's that?
Just name reviewers. Just name reviewers. First one to get it gets a free sub.
A reviewer?
Yeah. These are all reviewers' beards.
Every single one is a reviewer's beard.
Oh, Badger!
Oh, you
Ruby
asshole.
It's Ruby Roo.
Clearly it's Ruby Roo.
No way! Badger, you've already said so. No point.
Oh, I thought I was so clever for doing that.
'Cause he's funny.
Did anyone ever see that meme of that what's that Pokemon meme? And it would be like, oh, it's clearly that, and then it was something else entirely that fit into the silhouette. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
Yeah. It's like, it's Gengar, it's got to be Gengar, it's got to be... Oh, fuck, it's Staryu, fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what came into my mind with this.
Somebody's photoshopped that on. I've got a horrible feeling that I don't think Ruby Roo could actually physically.
Rob is right. I 100% Google searched the screenshot. Like, where the fuck else was I going to get the pictures from?
Did you Google Ruby Roo with beard?
No, I just Googled Ruby Roo. I then took someone else's beard, cut it off, and superimposed it. Would you like to see the person whose beard it actually is?
Yes.
Were it Santa?
No, it wasn't. I mean, this guy is rugged to fuck. Give me a second. I've got to find it again.
Is he going to be like a homeless guy?
No. I will find it. Give me a second. Carry on talking amongst yourselves.
No, it's all right. We're just going to leave complete dead air for you.
We're moving on to the next one while Cass finds it.
That's it. Ruby was the last one.
Oh, we're moving on to the next thing.
Yes.
All right, there we go.
So what have we got?
Jono's question of the week.
No. We've got another feature.
Oh.
What's the worst or what's the worst / best thing about e-liquid in the industry today?
So when I wrote this, I basically we discussed mods last week. What do we look for when we buy a mod? Is it design, price, features, build quality? And I thought, well, let's take a look at the other side. So it's e-liquid. So obviously, e-liquid is a very different beast today to what it was 2, 3, even 18 months ago. It's very different. So when you're looking for e-liquid, out of things like the design, the price, the quality, the variety, or even the limitations, things like nicotine limitations, what is it that other than flavor, because obviously flavor is the biggest part, other than flavor, what draws you to a liquid, what makes you want to buy a liquid, interpret as you will.
Cass, I'm starting to get a burnt taste.
No.
No way. I'll
What power have you got it set on, Mark?
Lower than low.
Right,
It won't go any lower.
Yeah, go on, Jono. Start for us.
So yeah, you said flavor is a big thing. The design of the bottle, it could have a blank label. As long as it's banging liquid, I don't care. But if there is a brand that comes out with an absolute banger for me, I'm bound to try the rest to see what the others are like.
Oh, what, like sort of quality by association, as it were?
Sort of, yeah. So it's like, well, this. So, just for example, juice sauce. I know it's going to be baby sick, but it's, so I loved their marmalades, and I worked for them at the time. I tried baked, and I absolutely loved them. When they did the suicide serum, the juice, I know, baby sick. Matt, do you want to try this belladonna? It's brand new. No. Who would it done by? Juice sauce? No, I don't want to bother.
I'm not that bad. You make me sound like an utter cunt.
No. Mate, we share our love for marmalade. Our love for marmalade is absolutely unbreakable. We have a special bond there. But no, so then because they've brought out suicide, they made the suicide serum juice. That were more inclined for me to actually try them, regardless whether I was sponsored by them or not.
Because you knew it was manufactured by juice sauce.
Because it was manufactured by juice sauce. So I was more inclined to try them. Whereas even if I was sponsored, I was like, it's like the hemlock. That would have banana. It would have banana, and I hated it. Absolutely despised it, just because it was banana. I can't stand banana.
I'm the same. Let's go through some of the comments from chat. So Gareth, flavour and available as a concentrate. Now that is a bone of contention for me. Obviously, I supply John at Just Add Nick, and we decided, John and I had quite a lengthy conversation, and it took a while for us to actually decide to release our flavours as concentrate only. Now, I know a lot of customers wouldn't do that because a lot of retail manufacturers wouldn't do that through the fear of losing short fill sales. Now, for me, the short fills are one market, and the DIY market, the self mixers, are another market. So to me, I'm probably not going to lose anything. And I do buy a fair amount of concentrate. From Just Add Nick, for me, because I am out alone, I like something a little bit different rather than having to go and buy 10 mils. I'm saving the planet and all that jazz. Guildfly, sorry, were we going to say something, Cass?
I can't find the beard.
Never mind.
Cannot find it. Never mind. Don't matter. Anyway.
Dale, I also like it when every now and again the juice just pop a slightly different note. I know what you're saying. Something that's a little bit different, something that makes you stop and think, oh, I like that. Guildfly, mainly profile to me. Also price, if I'm honest.
But only because I'm on a budget. Normally I buy loads of new stuff. I think it does come into it. I think we can't ignore what's happened to the industry due to price. And I think people are looking for cheaper and cheaper juice, and sometimes quality, most of the time, quality suffers because of that. But it's definitely possible to get good juices at a low price. I mean, my company, for example, sells quite a lot of juices at a low price, and a few of them have surprised me with the quality that have come out of them.
You could reflect that on, and I'm not just blowing smoke up his ass, but back to basics as well.
Yeah. But and this is it, is that just because, I mean, we know in this case that it might be a cheap basic range, but we know that the person behind it has experience in juice. There are a lot of people who just set up labs, throw a load of shit together and slap a label on it and fuck it off out the door. Now, just because Mark, for example, and like I said, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, just because he's selling a cheap range doesn't mean that it's bad juice, because, well, as we know, he has a certain standard to live by. Basic doesn't mean bad.
I think a few people actually get tarnished by when you say cheap.
Yeah.
You mentally, you automatically think cheap and nasty.
When really what we should say is it's basic juice.
It's budget. It's budget juice.
Right, you see, for me, and I don't want to piss anyone off with this. So when we went down the B2B range, I'm looking for a bottle. Have you got a bottle at hand, Jono?
Oh
yeah.
There we go. So that's an apple pie. It's a basic flavour. The concentrates are no different to the concentrates that we use on a day-to-day basis. The VG is no different. The PG is no different. So the quality of the actual liquid in that bottle is no different to our, and I hate to use the word, premium line. But our premium line, there was a lot more time spent on the development. There was a lot more time spent on the branding. There was a lot more time spent on advertising. There was a lot. Do you know what I mean? So, you know.
I mean, I know how quickly you got that juice range out. I won't say it, but I know.
No, say it.
2 days.
From concept to on the shelf took 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
Which is why it's so cheap. Because we've spent no money on the things that the end user doesn't give a shit about. They don't care that we've spent 10 weeks developing the flavour. They don't care that we've spent, £1,000 on logos, graphics, labels, blah 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 blah. They don't care about the stuff they don't see.
I mean, so time from concept. Sorry to interrupt. The concept on the bakes range to it being available. I mean, even from concept to testers was 3.5 months. So, and that's a range that you could call premium, but then it's had that much time and money put into it.
Well, you had the case in point with the bread and butter pudding, where you ended up going, do we go for the one with the burnt flavour, or the crispy one, or the non-crispy one,
or is the trifle with the liqueur in it?
You had the trifle with the alcohol in the sherry.
I need some more bread and butter pudding, and I need the trifle.
Trifle's good.
Remind me on Friday night.
Trifle's
awesome. So yeah, I think when I'm personally buying juice, oh no, look who's back.
But thanks for the follow, Mum.
Yeah, I'll take that. For me, when buying juice, I'm super picky when it comes to flavour. Price, like if it's good enough, I'll pay the price on juice. But doing what I do and having tasted as many flavours as I've tasted, I can now quite happily afford to say that I can be picky, and I'm not afraid to say when I think something's a bit fucking basic bitch as far as flavours go. So I don't know. There's some really fucking. And I mean, is anyone else really, really bored of things like blue raspberries and blue slushies and bubble gums and candies and drink flavors that are just basic two-dimensional flavors with no real depth to them?
I'm not bored. I'm not bored of them. I wanted to say what's on the bloody tin.
Yeah. When you get something like that says like blue raz bubblegum extreme or some bullshit,
No,
it's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Anything just as simple like blue raspberry.
Yeah.
Like you'll get a blue raspberry and you'll taste it. You'll be like, that's not blue raspberry. It's shit.
Hang on. I want to know how many of you have ever actually tasted a blue raspberry.
It's a made-up flavour, but the candied version of a blue raspberry, like Jolly Rancher, absolutely outstanding.
I mean, the worst blue raspberry I've ever had, and they won't mind me saying this because I've told it to them to their face, was UK Labs blue raspberry gummies. Tasted exactly like them purple sweets that come in a tube.
Parma Violets.
The Parma Violets tasted exactly like Parma Violets. I said, what the fuck is this blue raspberry? Why is it your juice of the fucking week? And the guy was like, look, to be honest with you, I've got no idea what the fuck they were thinking with this. And this is their sales rep saying this. And it's like, honestly, guys.
Juice of the week, in other words, they can't sell enough of it, so they've put it on a fucking...
Exactly. Like the rest of their gummy range was some of the best gummy flavors I've tried. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of gummy flavors. And this was shocking.
I quite like... I don't partake into a nice gummy flavour.
Yeah.
If it's done right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, John, you'd like the UK Labs range. Their rhubarb and apple crumble is next level. Is really, really fucking good. And they do a blueberry pavlova that is mind-blowing.
See, you know me, I'm very, very partial to a blueberry flavour all the time. I'm always open for blueberry. That's what I was saying, like with the blueberry jelly from Juice. I was really disappointed. I thought it'd be more of like a sweet candied blueberry. And I was just like, meh.
Nah. Well, the blueberry you want to try is the blueberry mojito from Super Good. That is the most refreshing, clean, accurate flavour I've had on a blueberry in a very long time.
It's like...
why do they call blueberries... Why are blueberries blueberries? Because they're bloody purple!
I don't know. I couldn't call them blackberries.
Good shout.
They're purple! Why didn't they just call them purple berries?
Why did they name a fruit after the colour orange?
Oh, don't start this. You did this on Friday.
Because it's...
I don't know. No, it's like...
Now, was that... I was just going to say, are you sure it was the fruit that was named after the colour, or was the colour named after the fruit?
It don't matter. It's relevant now. That was Friday's talk. No, way back when I first started vaping, I am ashamed to say this. I went to Totally Wicked.
Get in the bin, kick him, Mark. Right, that's it. Game over.
I thought, right, do you know what? I really liked blueberry as a flavour. But their blueberry was like quite perfumey, which I hated. Yeah. However, the one flavour which I kept going back to, and I absolutely adored it, was their lemon and lime, because it tastes just like Sprite. It was absolutely banging. I'm sorry to say, but...
I mean, the thing is, blueberries don't have much flavour to them when you eat them.
No.
It's the same as strawberries, so they have to be a little bit synthetic.
Yeah.
But it's how it's mixed, it's how it's done.
It doesn't have to be. Right, I have got some time booked in for development over the next couple of weeks. Now, I've got a lot of exciting and different things planned, and I can't say too much. I'm doing some work for Sorry, I'm watching chat. This is what we have mods for. Ignore me.
Oh dear, Dale, what did you post?
No, it wasn't Dale. It was Orgy being ban happy. Orgy, no. Calm it.
But Dale just said your message wasn't posted due to conflict, so I assume you put something up and then it's replaced it with that.
No, I was apologising to Naughty Girl next door. What was I saying? Is there something that you have? I'm not looking for this for inspiration and ideas. I'm doing some work for the UAE, but also Australia as well. And obviously their palettes are a little bit different to ours. Now, is there anything that you've always fancied, but never necessarily been able to get. And I don't mean a McDonald's apple pie. I don't mean anything like that. But like
Kinder Bueno.
Davey just said, apple and rhubarb crumble. Now, I've never come across that as a vape. And does it deserve a little bit of crumble? A little bit of custard? Does it? You know, things like that. It put your head into the development side.
Do you know what I've never found? A good Greek yogurt. Like with that sort of tang that Greek yogurt has, with a sort of fruit. So like a blueberry Greek yogurt, like the Fahe Greek yogurt.
Well, it's not a Greek yogurt, but I have found a very good yogurt, which has got that yogurt twang.
Yeah, see, if something like that would blow me away.
VIP Vapors came out with their own range, and their yogurts were outstanding. I've got to say they were absolutely spot on.
You see, I'm not. Every yogurt I have tried, even going back to the Kilo days with their yogurts, I have never found, the closest I found to being palatable was Dale's peach yogurt.
Yeah.
But I just don't get them, and I find it very hard to develop them.
I mean, the closest one I've had was Hobo Joe's Filth, which was a blueberry yogurt, a booby yogurt, and that was close.
See, what you were saying about like what do you look for in a juice? If someone says blueberry to me, I'm instantly there. So, Jono, we've got like say if I watch it at TYV on Saturday, and Steve says, Jono, we've got a blueberry juice in. I'll be like, right, give me it here now. That's so because a lot of people know my flavor profiles that I love.
Yeah,
right.
Blueberry is one of them.
But if you was to buy an e-liquid that authentically tasted like a blueberry, would you vape it?
They don't really taste of anything.
They do. They're sharp, they're sour, a little bit sweet, a little bit perfumey, and dry as fuck.
Yeah, it's true.
Like a Jacob's cracker.
You know what else I haven't found? A good cranberry flavour, right? But also
cranberry flavour.
Custard vapes. Sorry, go on, Chandler.
I was going to say, why doesn't anybody do a gooseberry flavoured e-liquid?
Would you eat a gooseberry?
Yes.
I love gooseberries.
What, off the bush, raw gooseberry in the mouth?
Yeah. We had gooseberries in the a raw gooseberry is sour as.
Yeah.
Gooseberry.
You get a
German.
If you get a gooseberry, it really makes you go. Yeah, proper.
Oh, a
hot,
proper gooseberry
sour.
full vape would be amazing. That creamy gooseberryness. But does anyone else think, right, that custard vapes, whilst lovely, taste nothing like custard?
Until you find a good one.
They don't taste anything like custard.
It's like, to me, like back in the day when you used to pre-order Grant's custard. People.
When have you ever nothing tastes like bird's custard or ambrosia out of a tin.
I know people are going to keep thinking that it's because Mark said, I'd say it whether I want to show or not. If Mark were here, cloudy lemonade. It's a fucking cloudy lemonade.
Yeah.
It's an authentic taste.
A decent pomegranate. I have actually had a good pomegranate.
But again, pomegranate's quite perfumey. It's quite. Yeah. It's not strong in flavour. It's not.
The bitter.
Yeah.
I find them quite bitter.
And then you
lychee. No.
No. Again, I don't like anything perfumey. But that's my taste. That's my taste. So
what about a mango that doesn't taste like cat piss?
But impossible, because natural mango has got that cat pissy taste and smell to it.
No, sorry, Badger. That's the point I was trying to get to. You said even Grant's wasn't a real custard. So even though people like pre-ordered Grant's for bloody months on end,
they still do.
It worked. Yeah, even now, but it's so peppery. It tastes nothing like custard. Why people have put pepper in custard is fucking beyond me.
Yeah, they're just wrong. And
That's how it tastes to me. Like it's just been had a pepper mill just grinded into it.
Yeah, but
you can find a smooth custard. It tastes just like it's come out of an ambrosia pot. You can't. They are out there. You just need to find them.
I have got one.
Ambrosia from Colonel Boom is really subtle, really nice.
Yeah.
I've got one that I'll send out for you guys to test. For now, I'm not going to let slip what the concentrate is, but I'm working with a particular custard at the moment that I have got to say is better in flavour, in texture, in consistency than Capella V1.
Really?
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So I think people, if there's a flavour that you want to see or that you haven't found a good one of yet, go to Vape Talk UK on Facebook and just post it in there. Let us know, and then we can compile a list for next week or whenever, and we'll come up with some flavours that you guys wanted to see.
Cass, do you want to put a post up and then people can just comment and it's all in one place rather than people posting?
Yeah. I'll do that
posts.
now.
Pink custard from Trip Hammer. You see, Trip Hammer. Do you know when I was developing our custard? Excuse me. When I was developing our trifle, I actually went back to the Trip Hammer days, and for me, fizzy trifle didn't taste a trifle. I remember when I bought my first lot of fizzy trifle, we were on our way over to France to Disneyland Paris, and everything got confiscated going over, apart from the stuff that was in my case. Now all I got in my case was fizzy trifle from Trip Hammer, and the nearest vape shop, bearing in mind this was 5 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, was a long time ago. But it was different. You know, I didn't get any malic acid from it, or Trip Hammer's cream tea was good. It was spot on. Trip Hammer did some really good juice.
Does anyone remember Mrs. Lord's?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did some beautiful flavours, creamy dessert flavours.
You think?
I think a couple of them were right. A couple of them were shit, but a couple of them were lovely.
I didn't rate some of them were okay.
Mm-hmm. There's a flavour, and no one's ever really been able to recreate it. But the company did. In fact, it was Aliyah from Dot Mod's company initially. She did 2 flavours. One called Strawbeezy, which was an amazing strawberry cream, but she did a gingerbread biscuit, and mind blowing, absolutely blown away by that.
But Mrs. Lord's, they did a ginger as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
You need to try my ginger. I've got a ginger in the B2B range.
Is it a similar ginger to the rhubarb and ginger gin?
No.
Okay.
It's more desserty. But again, it was experimental. We thought we'd give it a try.
Ginger cake and custard. Oh.
They haven't been. He hasn't been able to redo it properly, but apparently it's supposed to be better. I disagree, but it's still lovely. Key lime cheesecake, TYV.
You see, his original recipe was banging.
Yeah.
Lindsay used to vape the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And then when they changed it for the TPD, it wasn't so great. But I think he's gone back to the original now in short fills.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it's not the same as the V1, but a lot of people say it's very similar.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
For fear we're running out of time, we can continue this one next week. What's your big question, Jono?
Right. So, 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
Sorry to put that last section to an end, but I think we can continue this next week. I was
going to say we could do it on Friday, but somebody isn't here. Other Cass.
No, I'm sorry. I won't be here Friday.
Knobhead. So is it 2 years since TPD came in?
2016, 3.
So
No, 2017.
2 years.
Yeah, sorry, my
So my
bad.
original 2 years,
Yeah,
right?
2 years.
So they came in with all these rules and regulations, 2 mil tank capacity. We found the loophole. Well, the loophole with the short fills, etc., etc. I think Mark's getting a pearl necklace tonight. And
Naughty.
putting it to dropping the nicotine down, you can't get 24 milligram anymore. What rule would you disband, and what rule would you imply?
Sorry. What?
Say that again.
Right.
Rule for what?
So the TPD came in with all the rules and regulations for the short fills, tanks, etc., etc. What rule would you change? Like, what would you take out if you had a choice? What rule would you take out? And you have to replace it with another rule. So, because obviously for every action there's a reaction. What rule would you put in?
Ooh.
What rule would I put in, or what's the first rule I'd get rid of?
Well, what's the rule that you'd get rid of, and what's the rule you'd just a random? Well, it's not even a random rule. Maybe like a really carefully thought rule to put in.
There's a few things I'd change. I'm going to start with the first one. My first one would be get rid of the 2 mil rule.
Yep.
On tanks.
On tanks. If people want 5 mil, let them go with 5 mil. Personally, I quite like 2 mils, but I'm thinking about the market, not about myself. I'm more than happy to continue using 2 mils.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it with me. I would get rid of short fills. I would allow up to 60 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-nicked up to 20 milligram.
Yeah.
However, everything on the market would have to be tested. There would be no unscrupulous manufacturers. Everything would have to be tested. Everything would have to go through the TPD. No loopholes, no bullshit, no nothing. You're testing. End of.
Yeah.
So I would replace that law, replace the 60 mil pre-nick with rules and regulations governing the manufacture. What about those that vape zero nick? Well, they wouldn't fall into the
That'd need
TPD.
testing.
No.
Yeah, but no, that would need testing as well.
No, there's no need.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but it needs vaping. So if you're saying a 60 mil short film needs to be tested, then why should a zero nick not be tested as well?
Fine, zero nick as well. What to do is preempt the bellends in the industry that have fucked it.
Yeah.
Fuck off the 2 mil rule. I'll happily forego the 2 mil tank size for bringing back the pre-nick juice and for ensuring safety, ensuring testing, ensuring regulation on manufacture. Next.
I think for me, I think the 2 mil tank things clearly are clearly the first thing to get rid of, because I don't see that it provides any real use, to be honest with you. I understand why they've done the max nick thing, but the 2 mil tank initially, obviously, that came out of the fact that originally it was going to be pre-filled only at one point, and they sort of just adapted that into 2 mil, and I don't think that actually has any use in today's vape industry.
It's interesting that because obviously different European countries use the same TPD regulations, and places like Germany don't have the 2 mil for tanks.
Well, no, and I think that's got to be the first thing to go. The next thing I would do, that I would actually put in, and I think this kind of goes off what Mark says about the testing, is for example, in places in Europe, you can only buy tobacco in specified places. And I think, and this is, agree with me or don't, but I have my reasons and I'll explain. I think anywhere that sells vaping products should be subject to licensing like a bar is. So anyone that sells products must have a license to sell those products, must go through a series of testing on how to use those products and to explain those to others, because there are too many situations where places like Argos or the corner shop are selling products that are then breaking or causing damage, and that's negatively reflecting. So if you have a vape shop that has staff in it, then you could have a license holder for the premises and then people that work under it, who are then able to go and get themselves a license. But I think what it would stop is people selling products they have no idea about how to use, giving misinformation to people, which then reflects negatively on the industry.
Yes.
I think that along with the testing that Mark suggested, it means that not only do you know that your products have been tested and are safe, but you know that the person selling them to you has not only got the knowledge to sell them to you, because believe me, I've heard some fucking stonkers from people that work in vape shops, that you know that the person that's selling it to you knows what they're talking about, has had to pass a test in order to sell it to you, and it then becomes a trusted source of information. And then at that point, you can no longer say, well, that vape shop's shit because they don't know what they're talking about. Well, they must know what they're talking about. They had to pass a fucking test to do it.
Right.
And I would make it a difficult one as well.
Right. I get that, but I'm going to disagree with it from my point of view. That if you need a premises license, much the same as you would in a bar, a pub, a club, whatever.
Yeah.
If you need a premises license, that would put out. Okay, how many online sellers just sell online?
Well, this was the next one I was going to get to, is that the online sellers can then apply for themselves a license, and you would have, say, you get like the trusted trader scheme, or you get like the gas logo that you put on certain brands and stuff because it's been certified. You can then become a certified by an official body that you are a licensed seller of those products. And
therefore, like COGA registered. Like
exactly.
British Gas.
And therefore, maybe not at the point of sale, but at least in the support aspect, say customers coming back with questions, that you can tell that the person that you're going to the questions with has the ability to answer those effectively.
So instead of being Corgi registered, can we be Dachshund registered instead?
But the point is, you could put a logo on your website saying we are certified and qualified in this regard, so therefore we are a trusted seller. And it stopped people like fucking Next Day Battery setting up a fucking website and binning all over the industry with their shit products. Yeah. How many posts do you see on Facebook? Has anyone shopped on here? Do we know that they're good? All of that would be gone because they'd have the certification.
There's pros and cons to that, isn't there? Definitely.
Of course there is. I mean, it'd be great if everyone could sell alcohol, but they don't because they can't.
Well, you could.
I mean, what's the point of putting?
But you don't need it. You don't.
Not a moonshine.
Yeah.
But this was your question: is what rule would you add? Well, you don't put a rule in there if there's not limitations to that rule.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's not a rule.
Right, Chandler.
10ml bottles drive me up the frigging wall. So I would get rid of the 10ml bottle rule.
What would be the maximum?
Oh. Now then.
No, 10ml bottle with nicking, Jono, you muppet.
We're nicking, for crying out loud.
Specify. I want details.
Yeah, well, you know the 10ml bottle rule. It's like the nick shots. Why can't we have the more the waste that goes? You've got to have your 60ml bottle, but you've got to buy a 10ml bottle to go with it. And if you're buying a 120, you've got two of these to go with it. I mean, why can't you just bloody have it in the first place? Because then you're getting there's no more nicotine in a 100ml 3ml bottle than there is in 2 bottles of 18mg.
I mean, the amount of plastic used is disgusting. Sorry, Mark.
Chandler,
it is.
Did you last time you came to the lab, did I have the 10ml bottle delivery there?
Yes, you did.
And did you honestly have no idea? Okay, there was just over 1 million 10ml bottles. Now they were.
It wasn't when you told me, it wasn't actually as big a box as I was kind of expecting.
How do you mean?
I was expecting like half of your warehouse to be, stacked up with boxes full of bottles.
But imagine all that's going in the bin.
Oh yeah, literally, all of that just goes in the. It really does. I started saving my 10ml bottles, thinking I've got a few that I've got some liquid in, but I threw away. I threw away loads.
Does anyone remember when the TPD was being fought through the House of Lords and there was a very small possibility that it wouldn't go through? The bloke that was fighting for it not to go through, I can't remember his name, he actually brought up the ecological impact of the millions of bottles it would create as part of his argument, and it was completely brushed over. I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of unrecyclable plastic going literally into the planet. I mean, there's a lot to fucking answer for there from the vaping industry.
Mods. Right, so I'm going to show you on my phone 1 million. There was 18 pallets there.
That's insane.
That was 1 million bottles. The caps.
Loads of them.
Was another 9-10 pallets.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's a lot of waste. That is a lot of fucking waste. Now, we actually deal with a company, and there is a new law. Thank you. I can't get past the sniff your fingers. Thank you very much for the follows, guys.
Have you got the whole whole audio file?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Did you put the whole audio file in there?
No, I did. I got the. I repeated the. And then Chandler, did you? So it throws me every time it goes. You don't hear it. I need to sort that out.
No, we don't hear it.
Hang on. I wonder if.
Has no one created a closed circuit for recycling these bottles, like a bottle bank that you can hand your empty bottles back into?
Right. This is my point.
You can't recycle the feckin' things. Mainly because... Is this what you're going to say, Mark?
Yeah.
Because you've got one type of plastic, which is the bottle. You've got a different type of plastic, which is the top, the nib, everything. So in order to recycle it, you've got to separate the whole lot. And some of these, like this one, that bit of plastic is stuck on it.
You could say the same thing about cleaning out your sauce jars. You've got to clean them before you put them in the recycling. It's the same amount of effort.
Right. So
it's not. It's a bit like the black plastic. You can't recycle black plastic.
How can I not have a 10ml bottle? Right. So
I know.
let's.
That's the only one I've got in front of me as well.
Is there anything written on this?
Oh no, I got another one. Same bottle.
I'm just going to do a flash of that bottle. I can't show you what it is.
There's another one.
So you've got. Let's do it on a bottle. I can show you. There you go. So that's a bad example, Chandler, because that bottle is LDPE at the bottom. The cap will be LDPE, and the insert will be LDPE.
So that one is recyclable.
Yeah. What you're looking at is things like this. So you've got the bottom is PET, is PET. You then have the cap and the insert, which are LDPE. That is the problem. Now, the company we work with, there is a new law and a new legislation that's coming in a year or so's time, where any plastic that's designed for single use will be subject to additional government tax.
Yeah, I've read about this.
Now, unless at least, I can't remember if it's 40% or 60% of the bottle is recycled, they are subject to tax. Now, the company we use, the company we work with, who we have a vested business interest with, has their own recycling plant on site, and every single one of those bottles is a minimum of 40 or 60% recycled.
How do the consumers get it back to the recycling plant, though?
I don't know.
And that's the system that's missing.
This is what we need. This is what we kind of need. This would be what I would add as a law, would be to. I mean, why aren't vape shops going, well, here's your nick shot, £1.50 for your nick shot, and you get your 50p back when you bring your empties in, and we'll recycle them. I think that works on two levels.
Yeah, but it's not like the old school pot, man.
Yeah, no, exactly like the old school pot, man.
No,
and it works.
Never work.
What about moving back to glass bottles?
But this works on two levels, because one, you're getting the customers are bringing their nick shot bottles back for recycling, or they'll use them in the shop and hand them straight back to the shop.
So it's the shop's responsibility then?
No. I'm not saying it's the shop's responsibility, but the way this works is that if they take it, they go away, they use the nick, and they think, right, I've got all these bottles that I can get a little bit of money back on. They're going to go back to the shop. So it's one way of getting your customers to come back into the shop. They're going to come back. They're going to get some
non-recyclable by having glass bottles.
And how do you prove that bottle came from you?
Which bottle?
How do you know I'm not just going to dip into my million bottles in the warehouse and start taking them back and getting 50p back for every one in store credit?
Oh, maybe it has to have a label on it.
Does it matter? Does it matter too much if you get an in-store? If I mean, you're getting your custom back in the shop.
You put a limit on it per transaction.
Again, it's all these things that there's just so many things that would make it fail. And I'm not being.
But it was. But obviously, look. Obviously, the shop isn't doing the recycling, and we're assuming that whoever does the recycling is. Because I mean, with the old-fashioned pop bottle, they were recycling those, so you know where they were taking it, and they were giving the money for the.
But your Hoy's bottles were going back to be reused.
I mean,
why can't plastic bottles be reused?
It's health and hygiene.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, would it be that much of a problem?
What's the difference between that and a glass bottle?
Well, this is what I'm saying, is that instead of faffing around with plastic and all that shit, and a plastic tax, why not, instead of them paying a plastic tax, obviously glass bottles are going to be more expensive to the manufacturer, but probably just as much as it would be to pay a tax on the plastic bottles. So why not move to 30 or 60 ml glass bottles again, because you can recycle glass, you can steam it, you can sterilize it, and then you can reuse it. That
would be absolutely fine if a 10 ml glass bottle's not going to work, is it?
Bin the 10 mils. Fuck the 10 mils off completely.
So we're going with the 10 mils have gone.
Yeah.
So we're back to 30 ml drippers.
Yeah, but like Mark said, everything has to be tested, and everything has to be, if you're releasing a product, it gets tested. So we're going back to the old way of pre-mixed 30s and 60s, but with a lot more legislation into the transparency of that liquid.
But that will also get rid of a lot of the 10 ml.
Good, because fuck it all off. And if you're a company that can't afford to go by that, then fine. But at the cost of saving the fucking planet, someone being in business is a good trade as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
Right. So,
good question, Jono.
Yeah.
So, Badger has actually already said my rule that I'd take out, and that's to have to have basically all vaping products not deemed as tobacco products.
Now, is
What would you replace it with, though, Jono? That was the rule.
Right, so the one that I would replace it with. It might seem a bit lengthy, but I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. Basically, what I would like to see the government do is have basically a vapor's ID. So,
what?
well, listen. So, so a vapor's ID, basically like a national insurance card.
Right.
You'd have an ID so you can buy in shops and online, trying to rule out all the underage buying. So when you sign into a website, you're not going to get up a flag that says, "How old are you?" "Oh, well, I'm 13, but I'm going to put the 19th of the 2nd, 1985. Yeah,
So
that
you
is my
type in
birthday.
your vapor's ID number.
You put your vapor's ID number in, and it's going to a big database where every shop is deemed to it. It's all linked, and they know, basically, you are of age, you are a vapor, etc., etc., and it can go through the NHS as well. So basically, you could go to
Insurance companies.
Yeah, well, yeah. So say you wanted to quit smoking, you'd go to your local GP where the receptionist could say, "Yeah, we've got you on file. We know your age. This is your vapor's ID," and then you'll get a temporary card or something with a number on, and then you register that card.
MB1815 has just said, "I'm not putting my details and buying habits on a government database. Thanks." I don't think, other than your name and age, your buying details wouldn't even have to come into it. That information wouldn't be accessible via that, I don't think.
To be honest,
I'm with MB. I'm with MB.
To be honest, you say, "Oh, I'm not putting my details into a government database," but what are you buying? It's not like you're buying a bloody You're not buying a 24-inch, dildo. You're buying vaping products. You're buying something to continue quitting smoking. Oh, sorry, finding a healthier alternative to smoking.
That's my business, though.
So
it's no one else's.
So why is there not something like that for buying tobacco?
Exactly, but say, that would be my ruling.
Okay, I still think you'll find people going, "I'm just going to borrow my big brother's vaping card," and buying whatever using somebody else's card. It's exactly the same as how, I'll get my big brother to go into the shop and buy a packet of 20 for me.
Exactly.
You're still gonna
reduce it down.
You'll still get.
I mean, it's not
people
about having
going-
a perfect solution. It's about showing that they're trying to reduce. I mean, for example, before seatbelts in cars, there were hundreds and thousands of fatal car accidents. Now, seatbelts in cars don't get rid of all fatal accidents, but they definitely do reduce it. And
Same with airbags.
Exactly.
I'd say that nowadays, and forgive me, but I'd say that airbags and seatbelts probably kill and injure more than they save.
You think?
Not that I'm saying that I don't wear a seatbelt, not that I'm saying that you shouldn't wear a seatbelt. I just think that airbags and seatbelts may, not saying they do, may cause more harm.
I mean, there is research into that, and I think the technology in airbags and seatbelts, for example, is improving. I mean, I know if an airbag went off in my face, I am definitely dead because I'm wearing glasses.
Well, you'd be blind.
Yeah, and probably dead. And if I wasn't dead, I would make sure I was, because I could not be blind. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying it's better to be dead than blind. I'm just saying that I could not be blind.
Okay.
Fucking hell, this got deep, didn't it?
That's quite yeah.
But yeah,
It's
that's
got
not
really
the point.
dark.
I agree with you on certain levels, John. I do. I don't think that the government having more information on us is a good thing. But if there was a way around that it was an impartial thing, I think if there was a.
Sorry, I'm not saying it should have been a government thing. It was just a government. Government.
Yeah.
They've got loads of data behind us anyway.
I mean, it's like companies that only accept PayPal payments. Like, you don't have to sign up to PayPal.
No,
if you want to use that company, you'd have to sign up to PayPal. And a company could go, well, actually, we go by the Vapors ID scheme. If you want to buy from us, you have to have a Vapors ID.
The problem is the government have caused enough problems and enough issues without further sticking their neb into the industry. So as far as I'm concerned, the Vapors ID card, the government can suck a fat one.
I'm saying it doesn't have to be the government. It could be made by bloody Tony Stewart from Vaping 101. He could hold the database. Not that I'd like Tony Stewart to know what I'm buying from said.
They wouldn't have to know what you're buying.
Do you know what I mean? They don't have to know what you're buying, but it's basically just a database.
But they will know because you'll be cross-referencing that product to an age and a name.
It's almost. I understand what Jono's saying, because all it needs to do is go, yes, this person's over 18, and then that website can go, okay, so I can sell them whatever. You don't. That website doesn't then have to feed that data back to the age. It's just an age authentication.
That data is processed, therefore it's recorded.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't. It doesn't necessarily. But it doesn't. It doesn't have to be, does it? Why would it? It's like, it's like you can get student ID cards, can't you? You get your student ID card. Your student ID card doesn't log every time you go into a specific nightclub, or
they go on
or buy an
IRA card.
An IRA
card. Buy a cinema ticket.
Yeah.
But no, I disagree. But your details, you've got your NUS card. Your details is with your university. Your university have then sent your details to the NUS, right? So you own a National Union, a student's card. Right. So let's say, for example, you go on to, those of you that have been students who know an existence of a company called Unidays. Now, Unidays offer a discount for student card holders. Now, the reason a lot of these companies that offer student discounts, they're offering student discount to record the information and the fact that they're a student. So you go online, you buy a new TV, you save 20% by being a university student, or Apple for that matter. Buy a product, they're recording what you've bought and assigning it to you because they've cross-checked with the NUS that you're a student at that university, that you started at this date, you're finishing on that date, and it just doesn't ring right with me. They don't then tell the NUS that, oh, by the way, this person's just bought an Apple iPhone 8. Of course they have. Where do you think all the spending statistics come from?
Yeah. But
they don't tell the NUS.
Discount.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. NUS know what people...
They might say the NUS. They might say, "Oh yes, on the student discounts, we've sold X amount of products." Do they specifically go? Are the NUS interested in which phones you've bought?
Of course they are, because that data's important.
What you'd probably find is pseudonymized data rather than individual data, i.e. they'll have that data, but it's not connected to an individual person, but the data is definitely there. There's just no name.
It's probably anonymized data, but that data could be anonymized. Yeah, we're getting deep now, and
Mark, regardless of it being right or wrong, whether it's a government body or not, do you think it could work?
No. Honestly, I think it's a shit idea. I think it's an expensive idea. I think it's giving data to people that don't need that data. It's opening people up for, like Cass said earlier, insurance companies. Someone's got a chest infection. Oh, well, that'll be a smoker because he's got a smoker's ID card. It's just, to me, it's opening up a world of absolute bullshit and pointless data collection.
Okay.
And it's gonna put off people. It's gonna, if you can buy a packet of 20 cigarettes without having to have a card. If you then go, right, well, I think I'm going to try and give these up. I wander into a vape shop and go, right, I'd like to buy one of these to give these up. Oh, have you got a card? No. Oh, well, I can't sell it to you then.
Make
All right,
call
I'll
online
just
sales,
go.
credit,
I'll just
debit
go.
cards.
I'll just go next door and buy 20 Bensons then.
Right, make all online sales, credit or debit card. Fine. But my 12-year-old has got a debit card. There is
It would have to be a credit card, wouldn't it?
Exactly. And I don't own a credit card. I don't want a credit card. Thank you very much.
Me neither.
I don't own a credit card. I've never spent money that I don't own. Short of like contracts. But I've never bought something and then had to pay it back later.
You wait till you buy a house.
No, don't even fucking start. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a house. So right now, that's not a worry. I mean, the thing is, like, whether Jono's idea has legs or not, it's created a very interesting debate into how much data or how much we see the regulations affecting our lives.
A healthy debate.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, all debate is healthy debate because it means people are talking about it.
It's not a healthy debate, Jono.
Why?
It's a mass debate. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next.
VT UK. I always have the last word.